Hey guys, Daniel here, and I'm here at PSSL to show you the DJ-808. The DJ-808 is our first collaboration with Serato and is the first instrument geared towards the producer DJ. What you get at the top of the unit is the ability to sequence either your built-in sounds or your Serato sample sounds, and you can bring them into a mix and even sync them to a track in Serato. You get a VT voice transformer that lets you manipulate your voice, and on top of those two things, you get a really usable DJ controller. So if you're coming from a vinyl background or you're coming from a CDJ background, this is going to be extremely easy to catch on and extremely easy to use so that you can take your mixes to the next level. The DJ-808 is a 15-pound, 4-channel, 4-deck capable controller that includes the full version of Serato DJ software. It's equipped with a hi-fi sound card that can output up to 24-bit 96 kilohertz, unheard of in this price range. Again, as I mentioned, there's a 16-step sequencer with built-in legendary drum sounds that you can sync to a Serato track, and you get low latency, high resolution platters that make it one of the best controllers to use on the market, even if you don't plan on using the drum machine or VT functions of the unit. On the back, you'll find USB expansion and MIDI out ports, so you can sync external instruments. And of course, you get deep integration with Serato DJ, so you can spend less time staring at your computer during a gig or when you're in the studio. So what you get are improved performance capabilities and better sound through better hardware. And that's extremely important because you want something reliable on stage, but at the same time will give you that creative freedom to do whatever it is that you're thinking in your head. First, let's talk about the sound card that's inside of the unit. As I said before, it's a 24-bit 96 kilohertz capable sound card. So not only will you get clear, loud, and punchy sound coming from the unit, but you can also use this as a secondary sound card if you're on the road, in a hotel room, in someone else's studio. So you can finish up that mix, you can create tracks, or even do quick edits before you go to your gig. Now let's talk about the TRS, which is a 16-step sequencer with built-in TR-909, 808, 707, and 606 sounds, which is the basis of a lot of dance music today. You get 4 instruments. You get the bass drum, the snare drum, the closed hi-hat, and the open hi-hat of each of these drum machines, and you can mix and match these sounds. What's great about the built-in drum sounds are that they're based on our analog circuit behavior, or ACB technology. And why that's a benefit versus samples is because you can actually edit the parameters of the sound. For instance, you can edit trim, attack, tuning, and even decay. You can also mix and match the sounds between the different drum machines and even add in sounds from the 8-slot Serato Sampler that will allow you to create the perfect beat. As long as you learn some of the basics on the TRS, you'll be ready to go, and you don't need any production experience either. So let's go through on how to use the sequencer at the top. What you're going to want to do first is, if you turn on the unit, you're going to have a preset pattern already baked into the unit. So what you want to do is hit pattern, and in the pattern mode you can choose from 16 different patterns. We're on pattern 1, so what we're going to do is hold clear and press number 1. Now that we've cleared our pattern, let's hit TR record. If you see this color scheme, all it means is that you haven't selected an instrument at the top. So let's select our first instrument, the bass drum or the kick drum. And the concept here is simple. As you push start stop, this entire 16 button scheme is a visual representation of what we call one measure or one bar. These white dots here are going to be your downbeats. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the speed of this 16-step sequencer is going to be dictated by this number here in the upper left-hand corner. And we can speed it up or slow it down in whole values by holding Shift and moving the value knob. Or if you move it by itself without holding Shift, it'll go in tenths. So now that you know how to set the speed, we're going to go ahead and program the step sequencer up here. So again, we're on bass drum or kick drum. So what I want is to program what we call the 4 on the floor, or program a kick drum on every downbeat. That means hitting 1, button 5, button 9, and button 13. So you get that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to loop indefinitely until you push stop. So now that we've programmed our bass drum, we're going to move on to the next instrument, SD or snare drum. And snare drums are usually programmed on beats 2 and 4. So what we're going to do is light up button number 5 and button number 13. So now we have a very simple kick snare pattern that we can work with. I'll program one more instrument, the closed hi-hat. I can add an open hi-hat if I wanted to. And we'll say that that's our basic drum beat that we're going to use for the rest of the video. What you also get on the TRS is the ability to add swing. If you hit the shuffle button, you can go plus or minus 50, and you can experiment as you go. Like I said before, if you hit pattern, you can program up to 16 different individual patterns. And if you want to chain patterns, let's say you're trying to sequence a 2-bar or a 4-bar loop within Serato, how you do that is you would hit both the 1 and 4 buttons or the 1 and 2 buttons to chain those patterns together. So once you do that, they'll alternate back and forth. Finally, what you also get is a mini mixer. So let's play the pattern that we have. And if you wanted to take out a certain sound, let's say we want to take out the snare drum, or you want to take out a hi-hat. So now that we've sequenced a beat, how do you sync it to a Serato track? On deck 3, I have a Serato track loaded here. It's a drum track. I have a simple 4-bar loop. And all I need to do is push sync on the drum machine up here, and that sync button is found right here. And on the 1, on the downbeat of 1, I'm going to push start stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's say I'm a little off, right? Like I am right now. That's okay, because all you need to do is push sync at the drum machine to make the transients line up. And now you're perfect again. And now that you're synced, you can move the tempo fader here, and you can adjust it either slower or faster. And you'll see both the BPM counter on the TRS be the same as the BPM counter as the track. So what you're doing essentially is enhancing the track in Serato. So here is my track by itself. But what I want to do is add a little more kick behind it to give it a little more oomph. And you can do this to classic tracks. The same concept will apply. So what I've done is I've muted the snare, closed hi-hat, and open hi-hat. I just have this kick drum going. It's on every downbeat. And because it's already synced, all I need to do now is bring this TR sampler volume up. And you'll notice that there's a little more punch behind the kick drum as opposed to if it were playing by itself. And that's how you sync the TRS to a Serato track. Now let's move on to the VT voice transformer section of the DJ-808. What you get on the back of the unit is a combo XLR 1/4-inch input jack, so you can connect microphones or any external instrument to utilize the VT voice transformer. Let's go through the features of the VT voice transformer with this handheld microphone. What you get with the VT voice transformer is a 3-position switch. You can do off, on, or ducking, perfect for mobile DJs. You have level baked in on the upper right-hand corner of the unit, so you no longer have to assign the microphone to a channel on the mixer. You get high and low EQ. You get pitch and format to where you can do really creative things.
Like this.
Or you can do weird things like this.
You get a reverb knob. And finally, you get auto pitch. And with auto pitch, you actually get 2 modes. You get an individual mode if you just press it once. Or if you hold shift, you'll go into what I call the extreme auto pitch mode. To assign a key to the auto pitch, you need to find a track, and you can use any Serato track. So what I'm going to do now is look for something called key VT, and I find that in white above every channel fader, and anything in white, to select it, you're going to hold shift. So I've already pre-assigned it, so as I hold shift, I'm going to notice that the second deck is actually already selected. And if you wanted to, you could select a different Serato deck, but deck 2 is the one that I want to use. And on deck 2, I have this bass line. I'm going to turn on the extreme version of auto pitch. So as I said earlier, the platters on the DJ-808 are low latency, high resolution. And what this means is that the DJ-808 can capture really quick scratches, really slow hand movements, which basically means that you'll get complete accuracy when you're scratching or when you're cueing, so that you can have full control of your music. The mixer portion on the DJ-808 allows you to control the volume and the sound quality of each of the 4 decks. On the mixer, you get things like trim, EQ, and an effects knob, which you can program between the 4 channel effects. So for instance, I like filter. So if you have a track playing, you've now created this knob into that effect. So if you go left on filter, it's a low pass filter. If you go right, it's a high pass filter. And you can do 3 other effects. You have jet, you get dub echo, which is post fader, by the way. And you get noise, which is white noise. On top of that, you can assign the effects sections. So if you're looking at the left deck, this is going to be effects 1. If you're looking at the right deck, this is effects 2. So if I wanted to use all 6 effects, I would push both the 1 and 2 buttons at the top of each channel. If I just wanted the one side, I can just select the one color. You have a knob here in the middle to go through your library. And you have load buttons at the top of each channel so that you can load a different song into each channel. On the back of the DJ-808, you might have noticed 2 USB ports. And what these USB ports are basically expansion ports that we call Aira link ports. And what these ports allow you to do is to expand the DJ-808 with the following compatible instruments. On top of the Aira link ports, what you get is one MIDI out port. Now what that port sends is MIDI start, stop, and sync data so that you can connect any instrument that has a sequencer built in and utilize the DJ-808 to be the master control of that instrument as well. The third connectivity option is something within the Serato DJ software called Ableton Link. So what you can do with Link is connect, let's say, another instance of Serato. You can connect it to Ableton Live so you can launch clips as you DJ. You can connect it to any compatible Ableton Link synthesizer on, let's say, a tablet or your phone, and you can connect all of those instruments using the DJ-808 as the master device. Finally, the DJ-808 has the deepest Serato integration available to date. From dedicated loop control buttons to the 8 performance pads with switchable modes, effects control, key sync, and Serato flip control that's buried within the parameter controls, the design of every pad, slider, and button is built with performance in mind. The actual DJing portion of this controller is going to look the same if you've used any controller within the past decade. The only thing is, if you're a turntablist and you're coming to a controller like this, you'll have to get over the fact that the platters don't move. To combat that, the DJ-808 is DVS ready, meaning if you purchase the additional plugin, you can hook up a CDJ or any turntable into the back of the device, and you can get that vinyl feel coupled with the updated features that the DJ-808 provides. If you prefer not to bring your laptop to the gig and you want to use turntables or some sort of media player to play your music, the drum machine, the mixer portion, and the VT functions will all be usable without a computer. The price of the DJ-808 is $12.99, and what you get is something called Serato Pitch in Time, which is a $29 value, which allows you to do cool things like key sync and allows you to keep the key of the track even if you move the tempo fader faster or slower. So what you get on the DJ-808 is an exceptional value. Not only do you get an extremely usable controller with low latency platters, you also get a drum machine sample sequencer that can sync to any Serato track, and you get a VT voice transformer to manipulate your voice to create drops. With the built-in drum sounds that are the basis of most dance music today, this unit unlocks the capability to be used in any genre and is only limited by your creativity. So thanks for checking out the DJ-808 with me. If you want to pick one up, go on PSSL.com. And if you do decide to buy one, be sure to register your unit so that you can get free online training through the Roland Cloud Academy so that you can be ready to use the DJ-808 before your first gig. Thanks, guys.